Back to Daily Dose. My name is Robert here with Matthew, person with Parkinson's, a very gifted actor, writer of What I Didn't Say, and a good friend, I'm very happy to say. We're working on the project. What I Didn't Say is a feature film. And if you'd like to know more about that, please go to our website, yesandexercise.org/WIDS, WIDS. We closed our last episode talking about the number of things our brain does and how Parkinson's, seemingly, from what I've heard from you and other people, forces you to kind of say, I'm going to have to shift my attention this way in order to do this at the level I used to do automatically. Is that accurate? Am I hearing that right? That you really have to put your attention in a specific place because the brain doesn't fluidly flow from thing to thing behind the scenes the same way?
Well, it does fluidly flow, but it doesn't to the number of things that you have to keep track of.
Okay.
So, Michael J. Fox called it mental whack-a-mole,
Yeah.
where, okay, I'm gonna whack swinging my arm. I'm gonna swing my arm like nobody's business. But while I'm swinging my arm, my gait's a little off. I'm not heel toeing it. I, whatever. My tremor's active because I'm focused on one specific thing. So the brain is fluid enough to like go around to all of these things for a short amount of time, but in the end, it's frustrating, right? Because I can bring mental awareness to something, I can make it better, I can make it almost perfect, but as you get into the disease and you have more of the 40 symptoms that I can't cover them all. And man, that's what I've learned. Especially I can't cover them all. I can't have a great in-depth conversation while I'm focusing on whether my arm's swinging or not. So that's it's one of the really frustrating things about it, really, and adds to the, I won't say deception, that's a strong word, but adds to the frustration and of what's really the problem and how bad is the problem. So if I'm a bad walker at home, but I'm a great walker in my neurologist's office,
Right.
she doesn't see me walking badly. She sees me walking well. So,
Yeah. You bring up something. One of my favorite students from the cinema therapy class, she wrote a piece. I don't know if I ever sent it to you. Her name's Doris, but she talked about the performative side of Parkinson's and exactly being the good patient. And, in fact, even seeking going into the doctor's office and hearing from a doctor, you're doing great. And then going home and just being wrecked. But at least my doctor said I was doing great. You are a performer, a very gifted performer, by the way. I don't know if we give that enough credit. You really are an excellent performer. So I wonder about the artwork of performing on stage. You mentioned not doing Shakespeare anymore because of the physical side of it, but I wonder is how has your acting been changed? I mean, I know you now get to perform as Paul, where whatever is happening is happening. I get that, but are there other things you had to adjust as an actor because of
oh
Parkinson's?
yeah, oh yeah. Uh, I played Winston Churchill in an original show called If You're Gonna Look Like If You're Gonna Look Like a Historic Figure. I don't know why it has to be Winston Churchill of all people. Couldn't I look like John F. Kennedy or something? Anyways, yeah, you know what happens? There's a mental spiral that happens, which is really hard to fight against. Meaning, I go out, my hands start shaking more than it should, and so I bring my attention to that, and I lose my line. Right?
Okay.
I bring all my mental attention to, oh no, I'm shaking more than I should be for Winston Churchill, who might have shake from time to time, but this is not cutting it. So so I forget my line, which then spirals me even further. Like, oh no, I just forgot my line. Your mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. It's all negative, right? It's all negative. I'm a bad actor. I can't remember my lines. The scene is going south, and so there's I'll call it an acting death spiral that things just
Wow.
spiral out of control until I can get back, say the line that's next, and regain some kind. So my first couple of shows before DBS, by the way, but my first couple of shows, man, I was kind of a nervous wreck because I
Yeah.
kept thinking there's too many things for me to mentally be aware of. And usually, your opening night of the play, your mind is on what's my next line.
Yeah.
Uh, and when that goes south and the scene is breaking apart because we got long stretch of time while I'm shaking and not remembering my line,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard.
Well, confidence is a really thin thing. And I think it's one of the reasons why some people lay it on so thick it can become, something else. The overconfidence or narcissism that people get into. Athletes certainly do this, but I think actors do as well. They, build up an armor on the outside that says no matter what, nothing's getting through this, because on the inside, you're feeling exactly what you're saying, the terror of imposter syndrome, being exposed in the moment, right? It all goes away.
Yeah. And I thought long and hard about putting in the program whether or not I have Parkinson's. And I've always decided to put it in. I'm going to put it in there. But then people are kind of looking for it. And if I give them a reason like, oh, he's pausing right now because he can't remember his line because he has Parkinson's, they're drawn out of the show. And it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, well, so is everything with Parkinson's, right? I mean, that is just one example of the many intertwined natures from our brains to the specific focus of acting, and again, how you're being perceived and what you're feeling, because there's such an intimate thing. I mean, I've done a lot of stage work too, and I know that feeling of, are they getting it? And at some point, when the audience feels dead, you're not getting anything. It doesn't have to be a laugh. It doesn't have to be, a gasp, but there's something in the air. There's a breath. There's an engagement you can feel when they're with you.
They stop coughing.
What's that?
They stop coughing. That's
that too.
That's the sign of that moment.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, but that's interesting.
I've heard that before. Yeah, when the audience stops coughing, you're in a good place.
Because whatever was making them itch, it doesn't matter. They're here instead. Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. All right. Well, let's stop coughing. We'll be back for another episode in a minute.